Some of you may just think I'm being quirky. I promise I'm not a hipster. I have long hair, but it's not up in a bun. I don't wear things ironically or that have no point. I'm actually wearing this shirt because the way I got into computer science was I hated school when I was a kid. I was bored. It was very not interesting to me. I intentionally got thrown into detention every week because if I went to detention, they would let me read novels, sci-fi, fantasy novels, Dungeons and Dragons. And a librarian introduced me to two things: Piers Anthony, who's a novelist, and Dungeons and Dragons. And because I got so into sort of fantasy and sci-fi, I got into computer games. But I was poor. I lived in a trailer in Cut and Shoot, Texas. When our front door fell off, my stepdad just leaned a piece of plywood up against it and said, well, we'll have to go in the back door for a while. So I couldn't afford to buy a computer. So if I wanted to play video games, which I did, I had to learn to build computers. So I'd go through dumpsters and I would find computer parts. This is sort of pre-internet. And I learned how to assemble computers, which then meant I had to learn to code them. Not because I cared anything about computer science, but because I was interested in playing specifically a game called Bard's Tale 2, which any of you old like retro gaming fans, it's one of my favorite games of all time. I had to build a computer to be able to play that game. And that's how I got into computer science. And a funny aside, I was doing a Microsoft event for DigiGirls a few weeks ago, and I wore some sort of a Dungeons and Dragons t-shirt. Picture of it was on Twitter. Joe Manganiello, who's the actor that was in like True Blood and Magic Mike, big, muscular, good-looking guy, but he's very, very unapologetic about being a Dungeons and Dragons geek. He saw it, reshared it, and I got a comment and a reshare from Margaret Weiss, who Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman actually wrote the Dragonlance series. So I'm getting my post of me doing a computer science event is being reposted by the author that wrote the Dungeons & Dragons series that got me into computer science. So it is a cool full circle. But for those of you who may not be in a tech field, maybe you're in the library, maybe you're an ELA teacher, or wherever you're at, there's such everything we do today in some way intersects with technology. And I believe it's beholden on you as educators to figure out how can we tie that back into student interest